What's up, boys? It's Nick from Team Table 501 here. I'm the King of the Scrubs, and today I'm going to bring you my Go Second Hero deck profile for the September 2020 format post Dragoon of Red Eyes being unleashed into the metagame. Now, a lot of you are going to be like, Nick, why in Ward Buddha's name would you be playing Go Second right now in a format where people can end on 17 pieces of negation, Dragon Buster extra deck lots, hand looping you for 2 cards? Why on earth would you decide to go second? That's actually part of the reason I did decide to go second with this deck. Hero cannot build the same boards that Animancipator, Eldritch, Dragon Link, all of the top tier meta decks can. Their best going first board is the instant speed board wipe effect, which requires a bunch of setup. You have it, you know, I lost my train of thought there, I'm sorry. Like, you can't build any pieces of negation. You have no ability to interact with your opponent's hand, to interact with you can't but you can Dragon Buster them in theory if you want, if you somehow got the material for Union Carrier, but you'd have to do that before you did your Ferris plays, because Ferris and Increase and Cross Crusader lock you into heroes for the entirety of the turn. So you really have no ability to do the broken things that meta decks are doing. And a strength of Hero has always been its flexibility in going first and going second. Going first, you were playing a board building combo deck that was trying to end on just this really annoying interaction of just banishing your opponent's entire board when they started playing Yu-Gi-Oh! But now you're just going to play a Go Second OTK deck where your goal is to break established boards and then kill them with Bane. That is your entire win condition. So, I'll talk about more about the theory as we go through certain card choices, but you'll see very clearly in the deck list we are going as hard second as we can possibly go in the current format. So anyway, the deck list is always in the description down below if you're just here for that. Also in the description is my Facebook and my Twitter. Go follow me, go friend me, I post cool shit. Without further ado, let's just get right into the deck list. So, let's see if I can do this properly. There we go. Alright, so for the main deck really hasn't like changed a lot. It's mostly like 30 to 35 cards in the hero deck always have to be the same, and then the other like 8 cards are flex slots, or 5 to 8 cards. So for the monsters, 3 Stratos, obviously, you gotta play 3 Stratos, it's the best card in the deck for sure. It's your best normal summon by far. This card also gains flexibility when you're going second, in that you can like start doing plays, save your normal for this, get interacted with, and then summon Stratos and either get your extender or blow up back row, because it does have 2 effects. 2 Shadow Mist. I honestly thought about only playing one of this card. This card is kind of a brick if you don't open Ferris, but you always need to have access to it, so I decided just to play 2. Then 1 Solid, 1 Liquid, 1 Honest Neos. You actually search Honest Neos a lot more often in this build of the deck, because you need it to give attack points to Bane so it can destroy the entire board. Because if Dragoon negates some of your cards, Dragoon gains attack when it negates your cards. So if you can like get to Bane, and then Honest Neos Bane to get it to 55 after they Dragoon negate, Bane will be able to blow up the board. So yeah, Dragoon can't destroy my card effects, but you can get it to 55 so it can attack over the Dragoon in battle after it blows up their board. So that's it for the elemental heroes, and then for the vision heroes, I'm playing 3 Ferris, 2 Increase, and 2 Vion. I thought about only playing 1 Increase because it's the same thing with Shadow Mist and Increase, right? Like they're both just huge bricks if you don't open Ferris, but the problem is like you need to be able to resolve Ferris to the full combo when you're trying to kill your opponent, so you just have to play 2 of each of your bricks, which is so irritating. Because like if I play 1 Increase and I draw the 1 Increase, I can't resolve the best card in my deck, which is so frustrating because Increase is just garbage. Like, it doesn't even do anything on normal. Like, at least when I draw Vion, I feel okay about it, because at least it does something on normal summon. Increase doesn't even do that. You have to use its Spell and Trap card effect. And then Vion's obviously nuts because it dumps a dark and adds polymerization. Don't have to say much about that. And then the best extender in the deck, the only extender in the deck, 2 Mally. I still think this card should be banned on principle, but I wouldn't be upset if they gave us back to 3. I kind of just want this card at 3 just so I can actually discard this fucking card. Because, like, this card is just the best extender we have access to, because it's the only one that's a hero monster that doesn't, like, Xeno lock you, so. And then the 1 bar of gold. I understand this and Bane are $300. You technically have other win conditions going second, but if you're trying to play this deck as optimally, as competitively as possible, you have to play Adjusted Gold. Like, you just have to be able to play Bane. Bane is by far the most powerful card in your deck. You just need to make sure you have access to it. So you have to play the $150 paywall. And then for hand traps, I'm playing 3 Ash and 3 Imperm. I was playing Ogre for a while, but Numeron just like kind of fell off the map. And then Ash just became more applicable because of cards like Red Eyes Fusion. If people start maxing out a Red Eyes Fusion, you want to be able to Ash it just to end their turn. It's also just the most flexible hand trap we have access to. You can play Gamma if you wanted. I think Impermanent Gamma are the highest like impact hand traps, but you also need flexibility because if you play cards with really high ceilings and really low floors, and you run into those really low floors, Hero can't make up for it. Like, you only really have one play, which is get to Bane. And, like, if that play doesn't work with your hand traps, then you just, like, lose the game. So you need flexibility in being able to interact with your opponent's cards. So that's why, in addition to the 6 hand traps I'm playing 6 board-breaking cards, 3 Super Polymerization, and 3 Forbidden Droplet. These cards have a super important text. Your opponent can't respond on them, which is really important because, again, people are making 17 negations for however many it is. I think the most I've seen is 9, but you get the idea, right? Like, each of these cards say your opponent can't respond to it, which means you're going to clear the problematic things that you need to clear, or you're going to negate the problematic things you need to negate in the case of Droplet. Droplet's also insane because it has your monsters attack, so it makes killing people a lot easier. Super Poly, I think, is the best one because it actually just gets them off the board. You can get any number off the board. But you're usually clearing, like, this usually clears Borload plus Dragoon, or, like, or you can out, like, Herald plus some other nonsense. You can out, like, the IP plus Galatea board out of Orcus so that they can't go into Avramax or Appaloosa on your turn, or Unicorn on your turn for that matter. But yeah, all these, like, you need these cards in addition to hand traps to make sure that you don't die. And this is how we're blinding second. I'm playing like as many efficient cards as I possibly can that don't interfere with my hero engine, or also that support my hero engine. Like, again, Droplet's nuts because it has my opponent's monsters attack. Super Poly's good because it lets me discard Malleys or Shadow Mist for value. So, like, you're never actually down cards when you resolve these. Or at least these. These are down cards, but that's the whole point. But again, the general idea is that if Hero's not going to make any negation going first, you need to be able to kill them going second. And I'm playing as many cards as I can to maximize that. And like I said, if you want to play Gamma over Ash, you could. It's just the floor on Gamma is way too low, where just like you have a dead card in your hand. Because Driver's fucking garbage in this deck, you have no ability to use it whatsoever. Like, the best you can do is like discard it for one of these and then have it in the grave for a future Gamma play, but... So moving on to the actual spell cards now. Rhoda, E-Call, again, I'm just maxing out consistency here. Like, I want to be able to see, I'm playing 10 copies of Ferris, between 3 Ferris, 3 Stratos, 4 of these. So I'm playing 10 copies of Ferris. I should be able to see one in my opening hand. 3 Mass Change. This card's a pseudo extender because it lets you like turn your monster into something different for utility. It can also like turn like it also lets you play. It lets you get through things like Dragosophelia and Impermanence by like chaining to the thing they're targeting. So you can get a new monster and you still get the effect of your original monster. You still play 3 Mass Change. This card's insane. So the one of searchable fusion spells is Poly, Dark Calling, Miracle Fusion. No reason to change the ratios on these. Don't play 2 of either of these, they're bricks. And they're searchable and reusable for Wonder Driver, so like you just don't need to play more than the 3 fusion spells. So that's it for the main deck. It's 40 cards. Like I said, the only change I'd probably consider is playing Gamma over Ash, but again, I want flexibility in my hand traps. I want to be able to interact with different pinpoint things. Because Ash can deal with Red Eyes Fusion, but Gamma can deal with like everything else. You can also like Ash a Halka Fibrax, or you can Ash like a Romulus ad or a Baby Dragon ad. Like, you can just like interact at really awkward points with Ash, whereas Gamma is like, no, you have to interact with this critical structure, but everyone knows you're going to interact with that structure. So, moving on to the extra 2 Dark Claw, 1 Inky, 1 Acid, 1 Blast. You could cut Inky if you wanted for Trinity. I'm not playing Trinity because that card is just, I think it requires way too much material. You need 3 hero monsters. And considering how much interaction these decks are doing in this metagame, I highly doubt you're ever going to get to 3 hero monsters to fuse with polymerization of all cards. Like, if I could Miracle Fusion, it'd be a hell of a lot better. So you can get 3 heroes in the grave without blinking. But you need 3 heroes either in your hand or on your field, and at that point, Bane plus Honestios just kills them a lot faster. And then for the Elemental Heroes, just Absolute Zero and Sunrise. This card still nukes the opponent's board, this card still searches Miracle Fusion. And you can still do cute things like Fade Out Negation, make Absolute Zero, or you can make Sunrise, get the Miracle Fusion, get to this, enter Battle Phase, because again you're binding second, attack with Absolute Zero, have Sunrise pop the Absolute Zero, and then nuke their board. Like, that's a trick you do all the time in this deck after you, like, drop with them or Super Poly them to, like, get the massive negations off the board. And then the Bane! Oh, this card's nuts. This is your win condition. Again, I understand it's $90. You can play Trinity over this if you want, but again, if you're trying to play optimally, if you're trying to play competitively, you need to have a Dusty Gold plus Bane. It's like your only catch-up mechanism. It's the only reason really to play the deck, in my opinion. That, and like it abuses Super Poly and Droplet better than a lot of other decks can. And then for my super poly targets, I play 4, 1 Mud Dragon of the Swamp, 1 Earth Golem at Ignister, 1 Predaplant Dragostapelia, and Dragon Necro Nether Soul Dragon. So these all have different fusion summoning requirements. Dragostapelia is obviously the best because it outs the Borreload Dragoon board and gives you a negation. Mud Dragon lets you fuse 2 monsters with different types but the same attribute, so this also outs like the Borreload plus Dragoon boards. Or you can out like a Union Carrier that you impermanence plus a Herald of the Arclight to make this, so you've gotten rid of a negation. Earth Golem is a Link and a Cybers, so like this is the least often summoned one. I'm gonna be completely honest. This is supposed to be Dragon Knight Draco Request. I do not own that card. I just do not own that card, and nobody in my area owns that card. So, but you do have some neat situations where you summon this card. Like against Salamangreat, you can fuse away like their Sunlight Wolf plus like a Parallel Exceed or something, or you can fuse away like an Auroradon plus some like some other bullshit, I don't remember, but like you can randomly make this thing. It's the least often summoned one for sure. It should be a Draco Request, but again, I just do not own that card. And then Dragon Necro is 2 zombie monsters. This is for Eldritch because you can fuse away the Eldritches themselves or the trap cards. And then this card has a battle phase effect. You can make tokens and shit. This card's really good. But yeah, play Draco Request over this if you have it. And then the reason to play Draco Quest is because of its fusion material. It can eat the Infinable board alive because you get the Borreload and the Charles, so there goes 3 pieces of interaction. The only problem with that is that they hand loop you and they take the Super Poly, then you have to draw another one, which is, that's an L right there, brother. But what are you going to do? And then for my Link monsters, 1 Cross Crusader, this card's broken as fuck. 1 Wonder Driver, my favorite card in the extra deck, the one that lets you reuse all of your fusion spells, and then Dread Decimator. I thought about playing a second Cross Crusader, but games are so short right now that you just need as many ways to like utilize resources as possible, and these 2 are the best at doing that. But like you also need this randomly because like sometimes your opponent will make a big idiot in defense, so you can just like link summon into this if you have the resources and then bop over it for piercing. Or like you'll get into a really weird game where like you each interact with each other at like 2 different points, so like you just randomly have like this on board that got impermanence plus a Mally that you summon back, and then you like make this and activate Miracle Fusion, and then like you do things. So, but again, if you wanted to cut this card for something else, you could. It's not necessary. So that's it for the extra deck. Moving on to the side deck. The side deck is pretty standard, I feel like. Nothing too crazy going on here. 3 copies of Gamma Seal. This is to out the Buster Lock because you just need your extra deck to play. Also, if they don't Buster Lock you, if you like imperm the Union Carrier, this lets you out like Dragoon or Borreload or like any other problematic monster. You can Gamma Seal over an Appaloosa, get rid of 4 monster negates. For Spawn Trap removal, 3 Lightning Storm, 3 Evenly. I apologize about this. Someone's borrowing my Evenlys. I haven't gotten them back yet, so that's what we're doing backward cards for now. You could play Twin Twister over Lightning Storm if you wanted. They're both pretty similar. These are just the lowest opportunity cost possible. I don't really like Evenly because it takes away your battle phase and you're a blind second deck, but against the massive backrow decks, you just need as many 4-for-1s as 5-for-1s as you can possibly get, and these are the best against those. So, you can also board in evenly against decks like Dogmatic on stuff where they're trying to like out-resource you. You can just like get rid of all their resources, deal with the Winda, and then make your own board of like Darklaw that's really bad for them to deal with, like an Absolute Zero that's going to blow up all their monsters. So. And then for if I decide to go first in games 2 and 3, I've got 3 copies of Summon Limit and 3 copies of Solemn Judgment. So the theory behind this is that in matchups where I either want to go first, or my opponent makes me go first, or I think they're going to make me go first, I can take out my anti-combo cards like Super Poly and Droplet, or I can take out hand traps like Ash and stuff, and I can board into these trap cards. So I can still make my big combo board of the Wonder Driver, Sunrise, Absolute Zero with a Mass Change set and a Darklaw to banish their whole board, and then it's back up with this. Or you can do something like Darklaw with the set, which like isn't impressive in 2020, but against some decks it is just good enough for you to win the game. Like they interact with you, you make your Darklaw, you set Summon Limit, you pass turn, and then they start playing and you flip Summon Limit. They probably won't have an ounce of this card because you're playing Hero. They probably don't have fucking spell and trap removal in their deck. And then on your turn, you can just utilize your resources. Summon Limit hurts you a lot too, but you can easily just like make a Bane and sit on that forever, because Bane is just super hard to get rid of for most decks. And then Judgment's obviously to protect against cards like Storm, like Dark Blue No More, Forbidden Droplet 2 and 6. Again, no one's picking fucking trap cards, except for like Impermanence, and they're just going to hand trap you on the Increase or the Ferris to begin with. So these cards are just super powerful. You could really pick any 6-trap cards. You could pick like a Pointer of the Red Lotus, plus there can be only one, or you could pick like so you could play like Anti-Spell Fragrance plus like something else. But like you could play Anti-Spell plus Cosmic Cyclone. Like you get the idea, right? Like it's just 6 cards that are going to be really strong going first that I can draw into off Liquid Soldier during my combo, or that are just good to have in addition to like my board of random idiots that do things. So. And that is going to do it for my Going Second Hero deck profile in the September 2020 format. Like I said, I don't think Hero is inherently strong enough as a deck to blind first anymore. I just think you have to blind second and play as many board-breaking cards as you possibly can. You know, I've been having a little bit of success with this online and in locals. You know, it's just really a fun deck. I think Salad is a lot more competitive than this deck right now, just because, like, it's really hard to play through hand traps without any extenders. And, like, at least Salad can end on negation and have extenders to play through interaction. Hero just doesn't have either of these things. But Hero can make up for that in just the raw amount of damage that it can deal through one card. So it's like being able to adjust a Golden to Bane, or being able to, like, search Honest Neos and then hit for 1,000,000 damage. That's, like, the only reason to play this deck right now. But it is super fun. It is super interesting. You know, there are, like, the decisions you have to make in game are super critical. Like, when do you search the Adjusted Gold to go for Bane? When do you search the Honest Neos to just get over an idiot? You know, do you extend further into Nibiru after being hand trapped through an impermanence, right? Like, that's what makes the deck so fun to play, and that's what makes it so interesting, in my opinion. But anyway, that's going to do it for this deck profile, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like I said earlier, the deck list is in the description if you're just here for that. And again, friend me on Facebook, follow me on Twitter. I post cool shit. Those links are in the description down as well. And that's going to do it for this video. Thank you all so much for watching. My name is Nick from Team Table 501, and keep good scrubs. I'll see you next time.